my name is Blandine. I integrate the CCS team in January 2021 at the beginning of step 2 of the CCS program. I'm responsible of the dataset project. So for information, the dataset contains all the parameters so that the co-flight is able to compute the flight's trajectory with a good quality. The dataset project aims at building an initial dataset for SkyGuide and provide them the capability to modify it using specific tools provided by DSNA. And additional to these activities, I am also responsible for the CCS support demands with the co-flight team. So the dataset project has two main objectives. The first one is to deliver an initial comprehensive dataset to SkyGuide by the end of step 2. So that means more or less September 2022. So the parameters in the dataset are grouped by domain, subdomain, and collections. So the objective here is to address all the dataset collections which are useful for SkyGuide, not necessarily with exhaustive content, but representative of SkyGuide operational environment and allowing to run the test case defined in step 1 of the program. So note that the full coverage of SkyGuide ConOps situation will not be covered in the initial dataset, but as only a subset of situations on specific traffic flows or sectors sequence will be available. The second objective is to deliver to SkyGuide the capability to update the dataset by their own. So that means first provide support service for preparation, validation, and deployment of the dataset, and also provide a tool chain and initial technical implementation. DSNA will provide SkyGuide access to specific the DSNA tools such as JEDI tool and the DPR tool to modify and check the collection of the dataset. So this tool shall be available with a remote access for SkyGuide. To achieve this objective, I organize all the activities between the various CCS teams and SkyGuide to collect the needs and to find solutions to do all the activities. So this is a really collaborative work. At DSNA, the dataset teams, we define the building process for the initial operational dataset, and we also define all the role and responsibilities for each collection of the dataset. So we have some provider on the other customer collections. The initialization of the dataset collection is mostly done by DSNA with operational local data from SkyGuide. We identified also specific operational collections that are directly instantiated by SkyGuide and integrated in the dataset after. In parallel, we install a dedicated platform at the DTA to produce and check the dataset, and we shall provide the remote access in maybe in 1 or 2 months for SkyGuide to do the work by themselves. So the architecture solution is still in progress, taking into account the safety constraint. So that's why it's quite long to define, because we cannot give remote access very easily. So we face a big challenge as the building of the operational dataset is a very complex activity and takes quite a long time. And it is very important for the quality of the trajectory computation by co-flight. So we have to do it very accurately. There are also a lot of activities, and we have to deal without a CCS technical operator from SkyGuide. Fortunately, we will start workshop with operational expert from SkyGuide in September, so to consolidate the ConOps subject. So the output of this workshop will be very useful for the operational dataset for tuning and validation subjects. In parallel, the target architecture has to be defined taking into account other potential CCS customers. So we have to find a solution very flexible to cover the different services. And it is very difficult to get the customer needs that, as there are a lot of hypotheses right now, and we have to also to cover all the possible needs from the other customer. So this activity is also very tricky to find the best architecture and very flexible one.